Text Adventure. After the Fall of the Heavenly Court Introduction. Eastern Wasteland, Revival of Spiritual Energy, Text Exploration, Mystery of Reality. If the Heavenly Court were to fall to the human world, what would happen to our world? Silently, a text adventure game, After the Fall of the Heavenly Court, was released. Set against the backdrop of the disappearance of immortals and the fall of the Heavenly Court to the human world, it simulates the human race for immortal relics. Chapter 1. After the Heavenly Court Falls. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yo, Brother Yao, have you caught another bastard? I think our group's Air Force commander should be replaced, right? With the splashing water from the pull rod, a palm-sized king was dragged out of the water. Shen Yao counted today's gains and found that there were 5 big kings, not even a small fish with long fingers. Smile and laugh, you guys just laugh. The fish we've caught haven't arrived yet. How dare you say, me? At least there are a few scumbags in my bucket. Why is your bucket empty? Are you planning to go to the market to buy fish? The few people who were fishing with Shen Yao stopped laughing and sat back in their own nest. They are a well-known Air Force brigade in the fishing circle of Yin City, so they often huddle together to keep warm and inevitably laugh at each other. Shen Yao is a famous prince in the circle. No matter where he goes, he always catches more kings than fish. As a seasoned fisherman who started fishing at the age of 8, he has built a 30-pound nest, salvaged rusty firearms, dug up fossils by the river, and rescued children who fell into the water. But I just can't catch any fish, and I can't catch more than 1/3 of the fish that Wang Ba catches in a year. Reapplying the bait, Shen Yao casually threw it into the river like he was fated, and leaned against the folding chair he had brought with him. I can't catch any of this broken fish, so let's watch the video first. As soon as I opened Bilibili, I shook the advertisement and loaded my phone into a new interface. What a grooved open screen advertisement. How could it be a game advertisement? Uncle, how many meters did he collect? He was just about to close Bilibili, but was caught in the game introduction. If the Heavenly Court were to fall into the current world, what would happen to our lives? This text game is made using the most advanced AI technology today, simulating the wasteland world after the Heavenly Court falls into the human world and people erupt in a nuclear war over immortal treasures. You can input commands according to your own ideas in the game, and the AI program will drive the development of the story based on the game background, creating a unique and authentic wasteland experience for everyone. Is there really such AI? Shen Yao is somewhat incredulous. Although he is not a student in the field of artificial intelligence, he has some understanding of the development of AI. As far as he knows, current AI should not be able to achieve this step. Perhaps AI can indeed simulate based on a preset background and input commands, but simulating a complete wasteland world is almost impossible in his view. But he has to admit that just like investors are attracted to PPTs that draw big cakes, this game has indeed piqued his interest. The entire page, except for this game introduction, only has one download entry, which is so rudimentary that it makes people feel like spending a lot of money on opening screen advertisements is a waste. Shen Yao clicked Enter the Real World immediately, downloaded, installed, and the game started. The phone screen darkened, and on the black background, white clouds appeared one after another like towering rocks, obscuring the sky and sun. As Shen Yao clicked on the screen, it was replaced by building fragments adorned with flowing flames falling into the clouds. The clouds were scattered, and shells passed through them and fell to the ground. Although only 3 simple black and white strokes, without any decoration or music, still appear majestic. As the clouds disappear, a yellowed roll of paper covers the entire screen of the phone, and lines of text begin to appear. War, an endless war once, immortals and mortals coexisted peacefully. Ordinary people build tall buildings with their own wisdom, step by step touching the sky. Immortals are towering and never leave any memory of the common people until the fall of the Heavenly Court. People, in order to satisfy their greed, extended their claws under the majestic name of evolution, towards their relics, so the lust collapsed, The Milky Way broke through, and mushroom clouds began to bloom on the earth. Order was easily destroyed, but the winner was not among them. The pets kept by the immortals, the suppressed demons, and the mysterious experimental objects did not disappear. They fell into hibernation on Earth and only acted recklessly when humans were on their own destruction. They created a new order, where evil spirits and heretics ruled the world, and you, the spirit of Yao Qi, you are Qi eaters, born from the shattered fragments of the Yao pool. You are the last remnants of the heavenly court, and will eventually step into the human world with your own will, whether to search for the ruins of the heavenly court and recreate the glory of the immortals, or to mingle with the demons on the ground and participate in the feast of decay and bloodshed, whether to choose to become the savior of people and lead them to establish a new order on this wasteland, or to become the demons and monsters that rule this land, casting the withered bones and decaying flesh into the long ranks of ascending gods. Choose your path, the spirit of Yao Qi, to create the world you desire. With the end of this background introduction, the game background has also changed. The originally yellowed paper has been burned to ashes, replaced by a dark green vortex. After the collapse of the heavenly court, the largest fragment of the Yao pond fell into the underworld. Through the 6 cycles built by the later earth, the spirit of the Yao pond born here can attach itself to the deceased and step into the human world. You awaken from the fragments of Yao Qi, your innate power begins to boil, and your talent belonging to the spirit is awakened. Please click on Talent to select your talent ability. Shen Yao clicked on the word Talent, and the original text disappeared, creating a new interface for selecting talent abilities. Riding the clouds and mists. Riding the wind and rain, riding the clouds and mists. Talent effect. Gain flying ability and weak control over clouds and mist. Samadhi true fire. The combination of divine essence and Qi, refined into true fire. Talent effect. Obtains the ability to control flames, and the speed of practicing fire-related cultivation methods is slightly increased. Pupil of magic. Explore obstacles and reach the other side directly. Talent effect. Gain the ability to see through fog and increase the information acquisition rate in the game. 3 talents, the first 2 are quite specific. One can provide flying ability, and the other can not only control flames, but also improve cultivation speed. Although I don't know what the cultivation method is for now, it should be closely related to the level of the characters in the game. And the ability to see through the fog is relatively blurry. But the final message, improving the information acquisition rate in the game, made him quite tempted. For a text game, improving information acquisition ability should be of utmost importance, and Shen Yao decisively chose the last one. Your talent, Pupil of the Magic Technique, has been revived. Spirit of Yao Qi, your talent will become a reliance for you to walk on earth. When you want to improve your talent, go to Qionghua Palace, and you will get what you want. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. You have escaped from the fragments of the Yao Qi Lake and stepped onto the Naihe Bridge. It is time to choose a body for yourself and step into the human world. Please make a career selection. If the selection of talents can bring unique advantages to players during the gameplay process, then the profession determines the player's birth position and the life skills they master. With the beginning of career choices, hundreds of items have been added to the phone screen for players to choose from, ranging from hose, wrenches to poles, and telescopes. As a top fishing bar guy, Shen Yao always fills up all the functions related to fishing in the game he plays, and this game is no exception. In reality, you can't catch fish. Can you still not catch fish in games? You find a fisherman on the Naihe Bridge. He is still holding a fishing rod in his arms, and he steps into the Wangxiangtai with the crowd in a daze. You attach yourself to him. The power of the innate spirit begins to bloom, and you easily replace it. The innate spirit is born outside of reincarnation and is not bound by the 6 laws of reincarnation established in later times. When going to the reincarnation platform for reincarnation, you will not be reborn, but will return to your original form in the form of resurrection. When you die in the process of exploring the human world in the future, you will recover with the power of the fragments of the Yao Qi Lake, rather than falling into the underworld, you have obtained a relic. Fishing rod. Legacy artifact. A product created by the obsession of a person's entire life, possessing special powers. After reincarnation, if a relic artifact can appear in the 3 souls and 7 souls, it can recall the past life. Legacy artifacts are the objects selected by Qionyao just now, and each profession's legacy artifact has a special effect. Legacy effect. Every time you fish, you will definitely reap rewards. Qionyao curled up his lips. He had indeed chosen the right profession, and his mother no longer had to worry about our Air Force. Chapter 2. Throwing a pole on the Naihe Bridge. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Spirit of Yaoqi, you have chosen your future. Now, cross the Naihe Bridge and prepare to head to the mortal world. After this passage disappeared, the screen changed to the words, passing through the Naihe Bridge, and a small box appeared in the bottom right corner. This box is the place to input commands into the game. When facing a decision, in addition to the options provided by the game itself, if the player feels that the options provided by the game are not satisfactory, they can also input instructions here. In addition, in some games where players feel that there is no need to make a choice, if they have special ideas, they can also input commands to simulate. For example, now. The Forgotten River is also a river, isn't it? Qionyao is going to teach this young AI a lesson and let him meet the people who order fried rice in the bar. You stopped by the Naihe Bridge, with an endless river of forgetfulness at your feet. Throwing a shot on the Naihe Bridge has always been the lifelong pursuit of every fisherman, even though it was just a joke between them. But now, this opportunity has truly appeared in front of you without any hesitation. You stand by the Naihe Bridge and throw your fishing rod into the Forgotten River. It's really possible. Shenyao's evaluation of the game directly went to a higher level. The bar can really order fried rice. Now let's see if the program will collapse. Legacy effect, triggered. You immediately felt the weight on the fishing rod, and as you tried to pull, your behavior was seen by Mengpe. She was stunned. Although her soup did not take immediate effect after drinking it, she had never seen a wandering soul daring to fish on the Naihe Bridge in the long years. Suddenly, the text on Shenyao's phone screen began to turn red. At this moment, you feel that your catch has become lighter. He grabs your fishing line and flies directly onto the Naihe Bridge. You just realized that the fish in the Forgotten River may not necessarily be fish, but may also be immortals practicing meditation. You have caught the Fengdu Emperor. Qionyao was confused. No, why did Emperor Fengdu stay in the Yanwang Palace and come to the river? Does the leader personally visit the site to conduct water quality testing on the Forgotten River? Urgent question, will fishing for the Fengdu Emperor in the underworld be cancelled? The great Emperor of Fengdu stared at you quietly, showing no signs at all. Being hooked by a wandering soul's fish hook was undoubtedly a shame for the immortal gods, and he was thinking about how to deal with you better. The eye of the magic technique, triggered. Although the power of Emperor Fengdu can easily crush you into pieces, you are keenly aware that something is wrong. His majestic appearance is just a disguise, and you can see his essence clearly through the invisible mist beneath his surface. A little golden Buddha with blood and tears in his eyes sat upright in the center of his body, smiling rather than laughing, as if crying rather than crying. You see obvious scars on his body. And the Forgotten River not only casts his false body like mist, but also slowly repairs his injuries. You think you already understand why Emperor Fengdu sneaked into the Forgotten River. You have obtained the clue, the true identity of Emperor Fengdu. Point 1/2. You have obtained the clue, the truth about the fall of the heavenly court. Point 1/. You have obtained the clue, the truth of the Difu incident. Point 1/. You have achieved 120 achievement points. Achievement point obtained while exploring the truth of the heavenly court's fall. Please go to Qionghua Palace to use it. Qionyao regained his senses at this moment. That's right, according to the background setting, those immortals should be gone now. At first, he thought this was the underworld, not the heavenly court. which is why there are still immortals like the Fengdu Emperor. At first glance, the great Emperor of Fengdu was simply disguised as this little golden Buddha, using this identity to rule the underworld. Then the identity of this little golden Buddha is worth pondering. In his impression, only the Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva is related to the underworld in Buddhism. Under the gaze of Emperor Fengdu, you feel that life is gradually passing away, but for the spirit of Yao Qi, death is just a new beginning. What should you do when the fire of life is about to go out? 1. Shout loudly to expose the true identity of Emperor Fengdu. Insufficient evidence, please collect complete clues about the true identity of Emperor Fengdu. 2. Kneel down with a thud and beg for mercy from the great Emperor of Fengdu. 3. Unusual people can do extraordinary things. Optional. The first option is gray and cannot be selected. Shen Yao flipped back and found that only half of the clues about the true identity of Emperor Fengdu had been collected. He guessed that the other half should have figured out the true identity of little golden Buddha before choosing this option. Kneeling is impossible, and it is not possible to kneel in the game. While I'm still alive, I'll just give it another shot. You didn't kneel down to beg for mercy from the gods, but picked up your fishing rod and threw it vigorously. In front of Emperor Fengdu, you threw your fishing rod into the forgotten river. If immortals also have speechless emotions, then the great Emperor of Fengdu must be thinking this way now. For mortals, dying in the underworld means the true path of death is gone, and there is no reincarnation. And you, as a mortal, have such an obsession with fishing. If you were in a certain island country in the east, you would be more or less honored as a fishing fairy. However, Emperor Fengdu did not stop your actions. He watched with great interest, wanting to see what you would get at the cost of reincarnation. Legacy effect, triggered. You immediately felt the weight on the fishing rod. This time, you pulled up and the hook was pulled to the shore. You have obtained the 3 life stone fragments of Sanqing stone. Did the 3 live stone also shatter? Although based on the previous few words, Shen Yao could guess that something must have happened in the underworld when the heavenly court fell, causing the death of Emperor Fengdu and his disappearance, and being falsely ruled over the underworld. But he didn't expect the fight to be so intense in the underworld. The 3 live stone not only has the function of managing the cycle of human relationships for 3 lifetimes, but it is a product of Nu's creation of humans. When not restrained, it had the ability to devour the 3 realms of heaven, earth, and humans. This stone has been shattered, and it's already good that the underworld can still maintain its function of reincarnation. The Emperor of Fengdu looked at the fragments of the 3 live stone you caught and fell into contemplation when searching for the Shuyuan. www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Accompanied by the turmoil in the underworld back then, the destruction of the Ghost Gate and the fragmentation of the Soul Enchanting Hall resulted in the failure of the 6 paths of reincarnation for nearly 100 years, bringing countless evils to the earth. Although under his restoration, the 6 paths reincarnation can now maintain its initial operation. The underworld cannot be repaired in a day, and the 6 paths reincarnation cannot change to its original state. Obviously, allowing you to live can better serve the underworld. However, he is not the true lord of the underworld and cannot defy the rules of reincarnation, forcing his soul to stay in the underworld to serve him. The characters on the phone no longer appear. It seems that Emperor Fengdu is really thinking about what to do, which is quite realistic. Of course, Shen Yao tends to prefer AI to simulate the story after simulation. He has decided to pardon your sins, as a price. On the last day of each week, you must come from your dreams to the underworld to search for the scattered fragments of the underworld scattered in the forgotten river. For him, he said that only things related to the underworld are needed, and the rest are promised as rewards to you, blood earned. Shen Yao happily thought that this shot was indeed worth it and opened a limited time access to the hidden map. Playing games, I still can't be so conventional. If you want unexpected gains, you still need to do some unexpected hard work. The wandering souls were all amazed by the kindness of Emperor Fengdu and knelt before him together. Emperor Fengdu ignored these wandering souls and instead infiltrated the forgotten river again. You hold on to your fishing rod, rejoin the crowd, and embark on reincarnation. walking through the Wangxiangtai and stepping into the Fengdu city. The cycle of karma and retribution has passed all 10 palaces of judgment. Spirit of Yaoqi, you have finally stepped into the human world. Chapter 3. Solitary Islands and Mermaids. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Xinyao entered the human world, the dark green vortex on the phone screen began to rotate, sucking all the text on the phone into the vortex. Shuttle through the vortex, new words begin to appear on a deep blue background. You opened your eyes on an isolated island looking at the dense forests on the island. You recall why you came here. You were originally a fisherman in Qionshui town, who made a living by fishing all day. Qionshui town is ruled by the evil, Inspiration Immortal, and the people here worship 3 pairs of boys and girls to the Inspiration Immortal every year in exchange for his protection due to the contamination of the land near Qionshui town during the nuclear war. Most people here rely on fishing for a living. The sea is windy, and only by praying for the protection of the Inspiration Immortal can one sail safely and catch fish. Unfortunately, last month, your town did not offer timely worship of boys and girls to the Inspiration Immortal. Inspiration Immortal was furious and not only personally descended to Earth to capture more than 10 young people in your town, but also no longer protected you in the calm sea. Therefore, unlucky you were fishing and your small boat was overturned, drifting along with the broken wooden boards to this isolated island. From afar, you can still see the location of Qionshui town, and the isolated island is not too far from Qionshui town. Until now, Xinyao has officially entered this game. If it weren't for the shot he threw at Naihe Bridge, the game would have already started after choosing a profession. This Inspiration Immortal reminded Xinyao of the Inspiration King, the goldfish spirit in Journey to the West, and he didn't know if there was any connection between the two. You look around and see almost nothing else on the beach except for the tattered wooden boards that come with you and the dagger that stays by your side. Only a stone stands abruptly on the beach, making you feel connected in the dark. What should you do? 1. Step forward and touch. 2. Ignoring it and preparing to explore the island anyway, the game characters can be resurrected, and Xinyao didn't care if there might be a pit on this stone. He just stepped forward and touched it. You have lit up the fragments of Yaoqi, small. When the heavenly court fell, in addition to the 3 broken pieces of the main body of the Yaoqi lake, there were countless scattered fragments scattered throughout the human world, and this is one of them. With the power of the Yaoqi lake, you can teleport between the illuminated fragments of the Yaoqi lake in various places. You have obtained the fragments of Yaoqi .1/2, you have achieved 1 achievement point *1, after lighting up the fragments of the Yaoqi lake, you look around. Behind you is the sea with a faint view of Qionshui town, and in front of you is an isolated island shrouded in mist and towering vegetation. What are you going to do? 1. Impulse. Impulse. Step into the mist and explore the deserted island. 2. Tide, I'm back. Just jump into the sea and swim back to Qionshui town. 3. Putting fishing first in Pepsi fishing. No matter what, come ahead and take a shot. Well, this AI has been trained pretty well. After 2 attempts, you'll know that you've come up with a fishing option. A normal AI might only have the first 2 options. Explore the deserted island or something. Don't worry. Let's take 2 shots first. Spirit of Yaoqi, you have successfully brought in the identity of a fisherman. It is obvious that you were born to do this. Without hesitation, you threw a shot directly into the sea. After about 10 seconds, there was cargo biting the pole. Legacy effect, triggered. You immediately felt something pulling at your fishing rod, and with a gentle pull, an ordinary bastard was pulled up to the shore. You have obtained an ordinary 8*1, what? How could he be a bastard again? In reality, I am fishing for a king, but in the game, I am still fishing for a king. Fishing in this lifetime can't be separated from being a bastard, right? Xinyao is a bit anxious. I really don't believe it anymore. Keep going. Spirit of Yaoqi, it's obvious that a king cannot satisfy your greed. You threw another shot into the sea, but you know nothing about the danger in this area. You immediately felt a strong pulling force on the other end of the fishing rod. While tugging at your catch, you were unfortunately dragged into the water by a fish and drowned. You are dead. As the character died, a bright red death appeared on the phone screen, as if a silent mockery of Qiionghua. What kind of fish are you, such a strong and inspirational relative? Drinking nuclear wastewater and living in the sea. Pinching mom's drops, even though there was a dead word on the phone screen, Qiionghua felt like a dish word horizontally and vertically. This game was so malicious. Your consciousness is in a daze, and the laws of the 6 paths of reincarnation have descended upon you, ready to suck you into the underworld, but the spirit of Yao Qi, you are a life that refuses death. The fragments of Yao Qi closest to you light up your soul, expelling the power of the underworld and leaving you in the mortal world. You open your eyes and wake up again on the deserted island. You feel the exhaustion of your soul. The revival of Yao Qi fragments is not without cost, and each time you need to consume a certain amount of Yao Qi Qionghua. Existing Yao Qi Qionghua. 1/2, Yao Qi Qionghua recovers slightly every 12 hours, and once the number of Yao Qi Qionghua returns to 0, the game cannot continue. He understands that death penalty is a way to extend the lifespan of the game. If you can resurrect it casually, it's estimated that with the Liver Emperor, you can clear the game liver in a few days. The 3 options still appear on the screen this time, along with a dialog box for entering commands on your own. Qiionghua no longer stubbornly went fishing, but honestly began exploring the isolated island. This time, you have decided to explore the deserted island carefully. The towering trees on the island are clearly separated from the coastal beaches, and an indelible mist envelopes the entire forest, the eye of the magic technique, triggered. The fog barrier has not had any impact on you, and everything on the island is inviolable to you. You can see lush wild grass below your waist, treacherous plants devouring people, and deformed mermaids carrying firearms. You recognize these land fish. They grow fine scales on their bodies, and their feet have become webbed. But from the waist up, they still maintain their humanoid shape. There are mermaids of inspiration immortals stationed at the north gate of Qionghua town. With similar appearances, there are rumors that they are creations influenced by nuclear radiation and demonic power, and are products purchased by the Inspiration Immortal at a high price from the Baiwenjinjuan in Donghai City. You have gained insights into the Inspiration Immortal Soldier. 1/2, Mermaid. One of the subordinates of the Inspiration Immortal sought the book garden www.zhaozuiyuan.com to give up the ability to breathe underwater in exchange for the possibility of walking freely on land. You have achieved 1 achievement point. *1, you have seen the mermaid stationed on the island. How should you continue to explore this deserted island? Qiionghua scratched his head. You monsters are quite advanced, they can even use guns. If you are tough on the front, you will definitely not be able to pull up the fish with your own combat power, let alone have a gun on the opposite side. Then it could only be a bit gloomy. He clicked on the command box and started typing with a snap. To deal with this mermaid, one must first determine whether these mists are useful to the mermaid, as this is one's greatest advantage. Qiionghua estimated that these mermaids should not be able to see through the fog, otherwise they would have fired at him as soon as they appeared outside the island. You squatted in the grass and stroked towards a group of fish. Until you approached him, he still didn't notice your presence. Sure enough, they couldn't see through the fog, so this fog barrier and lush grass were their natural disguise. I can't fight head-on, but I can always sneak and stab my back. As you crawl through the grass, you also observe the unique plants in the lush jungle. In addition to plants that look like purple big-mouthed flowers, you can also see blood-red thorns clinging to tree trunks, snake-like vines hidden under the grass, and hanging giant willows with thorny pouches. The eye of the magic technique, triggered. You see a piranha flower with the leg bones of mermaids in its mouth, and there are bullet marks on the nearby tree trunk. Undoubtedly, the mermaids have clashed with the plants here before, and they do not belong to the same faction. Is Chapter 4 a game or reality? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Since the plants here have also had conflicts with the mermaids, the ecological context of this island is very clear. Due to some unknown reasons, the plants on this island have mutated, causing them to become what they are now. Xinyao is more inclined to believe that a fragment of the heavenly court has fallen here, and the radiation brought by nuclear war cannot make the plants mutate like this. Later, the Inspiration Immortal discovered this place, and for some purpose, it stationed its subordinates here, even if their subordinates had to pay the price of their lives for it. This is very interesting. If there is any treasure here, why doesn't the Inspiration Immortal take it by himself and instead let his subordinates guard here? Do you not want others to approach you? But the fog and plants on the island should be enough to resist most coveters. It seems that the things on this island are not simple. They can be so important that even the Inspiration Immortal, regardless of the safety of his subordinates, must be strictly guarded. Xinyao doesn't have a good impression of the Inspiration Immortal. Judging from his behavior, he is a pure monster, a boss with a bleeding bar, and an enemy. The less the enemy wants others to get, the more they want it themselves. The information obtained from the talent effect is still very useful, which should be the effect of improving the information acquisition rate in the game, allowing players to perceive more details and make judgments more easily. You squat quietly in the grass, waiting for the patrolling mermaid soldiers to pass by. Quickly, a mermaid soldier walked up to you. He turned his back to you and didn't notice any trace of you. What are you going to do? 1. Blaze someone and insert a dagger into his heart. 2. Ignoring him and continuing to wait for the next prey, there was nothing to wait for, and Xinyao directly stabbed him. You suddenly jumped up from the grass and stabbed the dagger into his heart with one blow. The mermaid soldier's mouth made a struggling sound, and dark green blood flowed from his heart. He tried his best to turn around and pull the trigger, but your dagger kept getting deeper and deeper. Finally, before his death, he fired a shot into the air, reminding his companions that an enemy had appeared on the island. The mermaid soldier has died. You have obtained spiritual fire *12, lingua. Soul fragments that have lost life, only innate spiritual bodies can directly perceive them. In addition to being currency used by the spirits of Yaoqi, it can also directly improve cultivation speed. Sure enough, I succeeded in taking it. If the backstab can be successful, you can brush monsters on the island like this. Although you have achieved a hard-earned victory, the scale of victory will not always tilt towards you. With the sound of gunfire, the entire island of mermaids began to gather here before running for your life. You may still be able to search for spoils of war. 1. Take the cloth bag and firearm from your waist and grab them and leave. 2. Carefully search. Don't think about it, he still doesn't know if this game has death drops, or he just takes a cloth bag and a gun and runs quickly. You grabbed your loot and quickly ran out of the forest. Although you fell twice on the way, fortunately, the other mermaids did not notice your whereabouts. Arriving at the coast, you find a huge rock to hide behind, but the enemy never steps out of the fog barrier. You finally have time to open your cloth bag and carefully study your loot. Xinyao rubbed his hands excitedly, clicked open the cloth bag, and finally reached the unboxing stage. You have obtained 2 rough water avoidance pills and 1 map fragment of Guanyin Island. Rough water avoiding pill quality. Normal, effect. After taking it, you can breathe underwater for 15 minutes, and the effect of taking less than 3 pills can be stacked. Note: as mermaids no longer have the ability to breathe underwater, they need to take water-repellent pills when diving underwater and leaving this island. Fragments of the Guanyin Island map. It records the distribution of dangerous plants on the island and the patrol trajectory of mermaids outside the forest, but deep inside the island, there is a blank space on the map. In addition to these two, there is also a musket used by mermaids that displays attributes together. Jiaolong G.23 Assault Rifle Quality. Rotten, note. This is a firearm manufactured during the Golden War. While operating on a high-speed assembly line, it also ensures durability and can still be used normally today. It is engraved with a pair of giant hammers and is one of the symbols of the Inspiration Immortal subordinates. He has gained a lot, and with the water avoidance pill, he finally knows how to leave this island and head to Qionghua town. However, since this island is called Guanyin Island, does Guanyin here refer to Guanyin Bodhisattva? Xinyao checked the game and found that the Inspiration King was the goldfish spirit in the lotus pond of Guanyin Bodhisattva. If nothing unexpected happens, the Inspiration Immortal should be the Inspiration King, and this island must also be related to Guanyin Bodhisattva. Although the props needed to leave this island have been obtained, Xinyao is not in a hurry to leave. With the help of the invisible mist and eerie plants here, he can turn this island into his natural monster hunting spot. At the very least, we must first eliminate all the mermaids on the periphery, and the experience points of movement cannot be ignored. You infiltrate the fog barrier, squat in the grass, and prepare to do the same, killing the mermaids on the island one by one. The mermaids on the outskirts of the forest have returned to their original positions, and according to the map of Guanyin Island in your hand, you can easily circle behind them and kill them. But as we advance towards the island, the trees become more lush and the weeds become sparser. Deep inside the island, there may be other hidden dangers. At this point, the text will not continue to appear. The characters in the game follow Xinyao's instructions to sneak attack the mermaids, and every once in a while, a kill message will appear on their phone. You ambushed a mermaid soldier who was in a daze, and with your skillful backstab technique, the mermaid soldier was killed by you without any reaction time. When the mermaid soldiers haven't had time to fire their guns as a warning, go to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and have more time to search for loot. You have obtained Spiritual Fire *16, you have obtained 1 Dragon G.23 assault rifle, 2 coarse water avoidance pills, and 1 stinky foot wrap. You ambushed a conscientious patrolling mermaid soldier, and with your skillful backstab technique, the mermaid soldier was killed by you without any reaction time. You have more time to search for spoils of war. When the mermaid soldiers have not had a chance to fire warning shots, you have obtained Spiritual Fire *9, you have obtained 1 Dragon G.23 assault rifle, 2 rough water avoidance pills, and 1 mermaid gland mucus. Watching the slow kill prompt on his phone, Xinyao put it aside and prepared to rest his eyes. Playing this game for almost an hour, my fishing rod didn't even move, as if all the living creatures in the river had died. If there were fishing rods in reality that could be shipped with just a flick, that would be great. Xinyao Gang picked up his water glass and prepared to take a sip of water, only to find that there was an extra fishing rod next to his fishing gear bag. This fishing rod is overall gray in color and feels very smooth, like an oil-coated bamboo product. The rod is very thin. For people like Xinyao who fish year-round, this rod is not like a fishing rod, but more like a handicraft. He thought whose fishing rod had landed on him, and as he picked it up, he was about to shout out, only to find 2 extra lines of words on the rod. Legacy. Fishing rod, the artifact owned by player Xinyao caught a deity on its first shot. Xinyao rubbed his eyes to make sure he didn't have any hallucinations. He didn't eat mushrooms at noon, so it shouldn't be mushroom poisoning. Isn't that to say that the things in the game have come to reality? Chapter 5. Mountain rain approaches and wind fills the building. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Xinyao clenched his fishing rod, his face somewhat uncertain. This game is like Pandora's magic box, and Xinyao has already opened a corner of it. But he has no intention of stopping there. 3 days ago, someone happened to come to the university to give a lecture, and Xinyao attended the lecture. That person is the young master of a large conglomerate, who started from scratch with the help of his family and successfully established a cross-industry company worth 1 billion yuan. He boasted about his efforts and talents during the lecture, but everyone in the audience knew that the biggest help he could get to establish this company was not what he said, but his father. Xinyao's school is a famous C9 in Yin City. Even if he studies for a master's or doctoral degree in the future and continues to work hard for decades after entering society, it may be difficult for him to touch the soles of that young master's feet. The endpoint of Xianyao's life is probably not comparable to the starting point of that young master. But now, with the emergence of this game, everything is possible to change. If all the items in the game can be brought out, it will be visible to the naked eye that the social classes of the entire world will undergo a reshuffle in the future. This game may bring new order, with high-rise buildings collapsing and new buildings being rebuilt. And now, Xianyao has reached the forefront. Is it to take the risk of breaking into pieces and becoming a trendsetter of the times, or to voluntarily give up this game and close the Pandora's box that has already been opened? For him, it's not difficult to choose, anyway he's carefree. After thinking through these things, Xianyao looked at the fishing rod in his hand again. Firstly, he needs to confirm whether this artifact has such a unique effect after being brought into reality from the game. If the special function of this fishing rod is still effective, then other objects are likely to be used normally. If it becomes like a regular fishing rod, the importance of this game may be one step lower. Coincidentally, it's already dark now. He changed his fishing rod and a group of people who came with him couldn't tell. Xianyao didn't hang the bait, but threw the fishing rod directly into the water. Almost as soon as the hook entered the water, he felt something pulling on the fishing rod. The special effect of this fishing rod is still there. Xianyao pulled the fishing rod with all his might, arousing envy from several people around him. I'll go. Yaoga can catch big fish now, something's not right, it's a bit wrong. The Mediterranean old man who has the best relationship with Xianyao is touching his round head and muttering words. He has the least hair among these fishermen, so he is given the nickname Fa Zong. Watching Xianyao struggling to pull the lever, Fa Zong was holding the net, ready to lend Xianyao a helping hand at any time. But pulling and pulling, Xianyao felt something was wrong. This fish is not strong. If it were an ordinary fish, now it would be pulling the rod hard to escape, while Xianyao could only feel the weight on the fishing rod. The end of the fishing rod did not move. This proves that 80% of the fish caught by Xianyao are not living creatures, even the king can still pull the rod. As the fishing approached the shore, a foul odor gradually drifted towards Xianyao's side. Brother Yao, it seems that the thing you caught is not right. Mr. Fa swallowed his saliva. He had been fishing for 30 years and had seen every big scene before. There is usually only one possibility of such a foul odor. Along with Xianyao's fishing hook, there floated a pitiful white female corpse that had been bitten by most of the fish and shrimp. Classmate, come and have a sip of water, take it easy. Inside the police station, Xianyao trembled and took the hot water from the police officer's hand, his face still somewhat pale. After catching the corpse, he vomited by the river for almost half an hour, almost spitting out all the food he had eaten in his previous life. Police. Comrade, this should have nothing to do with me, right? That fishing rod was taken back from the gaming world by him long before the police car arrived, and he was not too afraid of being detected. Seeing such decaying corpses, Xianyao felt that in reality, he probably wouldn't want to go fishing again for a while. You are just the person who caught the corpse, and it is likely that you have nothing to do with it. However, you still need to make some simple notes and leave your personal information for us to find you in the future. If this corpse happens to be helpful for some of the cases we are working on, we will also give you some physical rewards depending on the situation, the police comforted and said. Although she has seen this case for the first time, it is not unheard of. In her opinion, Xianyao is likely just an unlucky fisherman. There's no need for rewards, but if I can help you, then I'm not in vain, Xianyao said with a forced smile. However, some cases being handled. Is there a recent disappearance case in Yin City? He doesn't seem to have much impression. The two police officers who took the transcript were very friendly, especially after knowing that Xianyao was a college student. They could basically conclude that this body had nothing to do with him, it was just accidentally caught. It was already early morning after completing the transcript at the police station. The female police officer who comforted Xianyao originally wanted to drive him back to school, but Xianyao refused. Just kidding, if the police car takes me back to school, I won't be able to live a peaceful life for 6 months. Finally, at his insistence, the police officer helped him call a car. Shen Yao in the car didn't pay attention to the mermaid soldiers who had already finished scanning, but instead checked the latest news in Yin City. On several social media platforms, he actually found 3 different missing person notices. Among these 3 people, 2 women and 1 man are bank employees, small vendors setting up stalls, and construction workers on construction sites. From the content of the missing person notice, the 3 of them have nothing in common, except that their families do not appear to be wealthy. These missing person notices were all released within 5 days, which corresponds to the status of the body. After catching the body, Shen Yao suppressed his nausea and observed it twice. Although many parts were eaten by fish and shrimp, the overall humanoid outline of the body was still there, proving that it had not been thrown away for too long. Zhaoshuyuan.com. If it takes a little longer, the body will either turn into a giant view or be eaten by the fish and shrimp in the river. If the corpse turns into a giant view, due to the proliferation of bacteria inside, it will produce a large amount of gas and cause bloating, causing the corpse to float on the water surface, and then it will naturally be detected by people. It's early summer now, and the giant temple will appear in 4 or 5 days. Since it hasn't happened yet, it should prove that the time of death of the corpse shouldn't be too long. If it were normal, Shen Yao would only feel unlucky and catch a corpse. But now, looking at the games on his phone, he feels that it's not that simple, and the timing is a bit too coincidental. If we expand our perspective beyond the city of Yin, there will be more unusual changes in the international community within this month. Several large military and oil companies in Xinjiang have jointly established a new company, which has been criticized for creating a new Leviathan. Several pharmaceutical giants have invested heavily in the research of new drugs, which have been touted as the light of Amelia's humanity. The European Union's massive refusal of refugee entry has completely disregarded its international image. John Bull, who had originally left the EU, restarted the resolution to enter the EU and reportedly received strong support from Gallic chickens and Hans cats at the meeting. The fur bear in the north actively expands its military, while the white elephant immortal in the south begins to claim to need stronger weapons to protect the country. Ban Jiaoji and Nan Bang began to defy their father and decided to invest funds in military innovation after he learned that there might be extraordinary powers coming to this world. These recent sensational news also had reasonable explanations. Some countries with a keen sense of smell have already sensed that a new storm is about to arrive. Really, the rain is coming from the mountains and the wind is blowing all over the building. Chapter 6. Sniper. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sleeping trough, Brother Yao, it's already 1 o'clock before you come back. Can't it be a date? As soon as Shen Yao entered the dormitory door, 5 night owls who didn't sleep at night exploded. Make an appointment, I'm late for fishing. Shen Yao prepared to go to the bathroom to take a shower first, as catching a corpse always felt unlucky. I was scared to death. It turns out you went fishing, that's normal. I thought you had a crush on someone. Shen Yao's 5 sons breathed a sigh of relief and returned to bed, brushing their phones. His 5 roommates are also extraordinary people. For example, the one who was most excited when he saw Shen Yao was given the nickname Doll Brother, because he liked to wear a thin black mask that resembled a Hong Kong sister and kept saying that he was from Nantong. As a result, during the process of speaking, a true Nantong happened to hear it. That night, Zenintong befriended him and directly bombarded him with photos, scaring the Doll Brother to run away and never daring to speak up again. If someone wants to write a version of Strange People in the World for the college students in Yin City, then these 5 roommates are definitely among the top. After taking a shower in the bathroom, Shen Yao lay beautifully on the bed. After the fall of the Heavenly Court, start. After eliminating all the mermaid soldiers on the outskirts of Guanyin Island, there was no action deep inside the island. While you were counting the spoils on the beach, you were also thinking about the next steps. You have obtained spiritual fire *322, you have obtained 50 crude water repellent pills, 25 Jialong G.23 assault rifles, for foul-smelling foot wraps, 6 mermaid glandular mucus, 3 mermaid alien scales, and 2 mermaid alien fangs, stinky foot wrap, quality. Rotten, effect. Nothing but foul odor. In addition to foot wraps, the glandular mucus, alien scales, and alien fangs of mermaids are all displayed as materials that can be used to make pills or equipment. Just now in the unmanned bathroom, Xinyao tried to bring the dragon assault rifle out of the game, and the result was feasible, but the foul-smelling mermaid slime on the rifle caused him to wash for an extra 20 minutes. One night, Xinyao went from an ordinary college student to an arms dealer with 25 guns in his hand. If left in times of war, I could still become a bandit leader to some extent. However, the innate ability of the magic pupil may not be known how to use it in real life, and it may also be due to the lack of a suitable usage scenario or exposure to foggy environments. Xinyao understood that he still knew very little about this game. After solving the mermaids on the outskirts of the island, Xinyao set his sights on the inside. According to the description in the game, the trees on the island are more lush, and the wild grass that can be hidden for him will become rarer. The mermaids on the outskirts of the island have all died, and there is still no movement inside the island. This also made him somewhat suspicious. Perhaps what is inside the island is the true elite, and what is outside the island is just cannon fodder. The current strategy can only be tried with one's life. Spirit of Yao Qi, after dealing with the enemy in front of you, you shifted your gaze to a deeper place. Although this journey may be extremely dangerous, you still went forward without hesitation to try. You slowly walked deeper into the island with your rifle in hand. With the weeds at your feet as the boundary, danger followed as you stepped into the next mist, the eye of the magic technique, triggered. Through the fog barrier, you can see defensive fortifications made of steel and cement, as well as elite mermaids standing on high towers, holding sniper rifles and looking at you. Bang, a bullet pierced through the mist and pierced through your skull. Without a doubt, these elite mermaids in the deepest part of the island can see through the fog from a certain distance. You have passed away, your soul is lost, and the law of death invites you, but you are not prepared to leave the world. You open your eyes and wake up again on the deserted island. Existing Yao Qi Qionghua. 0/2, remaining recovery time. 6 hours and 23 minutes/18 hours and 23 minutes, Xinyao glanced at the time and realized that he had something to do tomorrow morning. Friday morning is always particularly tiring. Most students are eager for the upcoming weekend, but they also have to endure the last painful morning rush of the week. Although most students in the classroom want to learn more knowledge, their bodies don't think so. Xinyao, who had always been sitting in the front 3 rows, made an unprecedented decision to choose the last row, causing his roommates to turn back frequently. They always suspect that something is wrong with Xinyao. Maybe he's sitting in the last row chatting with his sister, afraid of being seen by them. Unfortunately, Xinyao was stuck in the classroom, otherwise they would have crowded towards him long ago. Xinyao opened the 6-character open-world text adventure game on his phone, and a new day appeared on the Wasteland. Ah, you open your eyes, it's a new day on the deserted island. Yesterday's sniper has already caused you a lot of trouble. What are you going to do today? 1. Continue exploring Guanyin Island. It's time to explore Tianshui town before going to bed. Yesterday, he carefully thought about it and realized that he didn't have any equipment in his hand that could handle snipers. However, in the vast town of Tianshui, there should be several blacksmith characters inside. He is planning to go to Tianshui town to see if he can get a set of equipment to guard against snipers and then explore Guanyin Island. Xinyao Gang was about to click on option 2, but yesterday's encounter made him stop. It's a bit reckless to just swim back like this. This sea area may not be safe, and the incident of being dragged into the sea by fish still lingers in his memory. Perhaps there are other subordinates of the inspiration immortal or some dangerous fish in this sea area. After thinking for a moment, he took out the foot-binding cloth he collected yesterday and wrapped it around his body, then tried to apply a layer of mermaid glandular mucus. Ah, spirit of Yao Qi, you not only wrapped the foul-smelling foot binding around yourself, but also coated it with mermaid gland mucus. Undoubtedly, if you cover up your body, only those fishmen will regard you as their own kind based solely on your scent. Well, that's insurance. You take 3 rough water repellent pills and jump into the water. The water repellent pills start to take effect. It seems that you have grown gills and can easily breathe in the water. After you jumped into the water, several mermaids looked at you. Unlike the mermaids on Guanyin Island, their heads had completely transformed into the shape of fish and could not survive on the shore for too long. They could only lurk in the waters near Guanyin Island. The scent on your body made them mistake you for their kind, and you slowly swam towards Qionghua town. You have gained knowledge of the Inspiration Immortal Soldier, .2/2, Fishman crowd. One of the subordinates of the Inspiration Immortal, wandering around Guanyin Island and further waters, with boundless power but low intelligence. You have achieved 1 achievement point *1, you have collected complete information. Soldiers of the Inspiration Immortal, you obtain 2 achievement points *2, along the way, in addition to the crowds of fish people, you also saw dozens of strange fish species, which were deformed in appearance, with protruding scales and spines, and were extremely vicious, but wherever you go, schools of fish keep moving away, seemingly unwilling to be too close to you. Shen Yao thought to himself, fortunately he had used both the foot wrap and glandular mucus, otherwise he would have died twice on this journey. The screen of the phone kept showing, you are swimming towards Qionghua town, and Shen Yao decided to cut out the screen and start scrolling through social media. It's impossible to listen to lectures, this old professor is like reciting a mantra. He didn't go to bed until almost 2 o'clock last night. As long as he puts down his phone, he will soon have to go meet Duke Zhou. More than half an hour later, Shen Yao opened the game again and the character finally arrived at its destination. After unremitting efforts, you finally swam to the side of Qionghua town, the eye of the magic technique, triggered. On the seabed next to Qionghua town, you seem to see a shiny iron gate. Chapter 7. People in Waste Soil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Iron Gate. Shen Yao was somewhat curious and controlled the character to continue diving. You swim to the seabed next to Qionghua town and carefully observe this iron gate. I don't know how long this gate has been in existence, but it is still as good as new. However, due to its location on the seabed and a large amount of seaweed entangled around it, it is difficult for ordinary people to find its location. There is a 9-digit password lock on the surface of the gate, but you don't know the password to open it. Do you want to randomly enter 9 digits to try? Shen Yao chose to refuse. After finally swimming to Qionghua town, let's first open the teleportation point in Qionghua town. If he inputs the wrong password, what weapon will come out of this gate to kill him, then he will cry to death. You gave up opening this door, just jotted down its location in your heart, and headed upstream towards the sea. Before long, you finally saw the sunshine above Qionghua town. This sunshine is so dazzling, but it cannot penetrate the gloom in the hearts of the residents of Qionghua town. You threw away the foot wrap on your body, and in less than 3/4 of an hour, the smell of mermaid mucus on your body was almost washed away by seawater. You already have the Qionghua town map, memory, you have lit up the Qionghua town map. As the rudimentary location map on his phone unfolded, Shen Yao understood the structure of Qionghua town. Based on the square in the center of the town where the inspiration deity is enshrined, the southern part is the coastal area, and the eastern part is mostly residential. He is currently located on the southern side of the town. To the north is the main entrance of Qionghua town, where the subordinates of the Inspiration Immortal are stationed. To the west is a trading area with only a few small vendors, craftsmen, and a medical clinic, occupying the smallest area. The map also indicates the original home. Behind the spirit of Yao Qi, the original body has already freed itself from the cycle of 6 paths and is not within the 5 elements. As a price, there is no more information about him in the world. his past social relationships have vanished, and his home has become an ownerless place. Shen Yao's home is on the east side of the town, and he plans to go there first to see if there is anything left from his original body. On the way to your own home, you are also observing the residents and houses in Qionghua town. Most of the houses here are made of incomplete concrete structures, with wooden boards, mud, and a layer of thatched roof to complete the construction. It's hard to say that this type of house has the ability to block wind and rain. It can only be considered as a place for people to live. On the way, you can see that the residents of Qionghua town have vegetable faces on their faces. They mainly rely on two jobs to make a living. One is fishing at sea, and the other is collecting waste along the coastline towards the northwest side of the village. Until now, the pollution caused by nuclear war has not been completely eliminated, and the seawater here still carries slight nuclear pollution. The excessive number of trips to sea and the constant consumption of seafood have led to shorter lifespans for residents here, and the children they give birth to are becoming increasingly unhealthy. Walk more than 10 kilometers northwest of the village, which was a bustling city before the nuclear war. Due to its proximity to the sea, it suffered severe nuclear strikes in the early stages of the nuclear war. But as a result, the residents there evacuated early, leaving behind many valuable things, which are the favorites of nearby scavengers. The concentration of nuclear radiation there is much higher than that in the sea area next to Qionghua town. Without proper protective measures, it is basically difficult to survive for a year after coming out of there, and the residents of Qionghua town obviously do not have such conditions. But picking up waste from there, if you're lucky, the things you pick up can be exchanged for money, a lot of money. Their lifelong wish is to have a healthy child and save enough money to send him to settle in Donghai City. Donghai City is the closest big city to Qionghua town, with clean water sources and unpolluted land that can grow crops. It is said that citizens in Donghai City can eat clean food as long as they work and will not starve to death. Their children can pass on the family line and live happily there, instead of struggling to survive under the rule of demons like themselves. For the residents here, Donghai City is a paradise. Shen Yaochang let out a breath. If it were just an ordinary game, he probably wouldn't be moved by the situation of the residents of Qionghua town. But since he took that fishing rod out of the game, he no longer thinks so. If objects can be directly taken out of the game, will it be a real world on the other side of the game? Based on Shen Yao's speculation, it is highly likely that he will. Seeing these words again would be somewhat shocking. You continue to observe the town. The only 3 two-story buildings in the entire town are the homes of the mayor, craftsmen, and physicians. The inspiration immortal usually resides in a mansion under the sea, and the mermaids and mayor are its tools for ruling Qionghua town. The mayor lost his fertility when he was young, so he doesn't care about the boys and girls worshipped every year. He is a loyal supporter of the inspiration immortal. Sleeping in bed and going to ho-hot with someone else's child after losing their fertility is really a good dog. Craftsmen and physicians hold a transcendent position in the town. Craftsmen are the only people in the town who can make ironware and repair firearms. Most of the things they pick up from abandoned cities are also sold to them, and only he is willing to pay for these things. A doctor is one of the few people in the town who knows medical skills. It is said that he has culture and can read medical books from the Golden Age. If it is not possible to send the child to Donghai City, it is the best choice to apprentice to a craftsman and a doctor. Oh, this craftsman knows quite a lot. Shen Yao immediately had a target. If he wanted to obtain equipment that could defend against snipers, he probably had to get it from the craftsman. The other people in Qionghua town didn't seem to understand these things no matter what they saw. However, even if he has equipment, he should have to spend money to buy it. He doesn't even know what currency is currently used on the Wasteland, and the spirit fire is obviously just the currency used by players for trading. There is also a doctor who needs to go there. Since he can understand the books before the nuclear war, there is a high probability that he knows how many years it has been since the nuclear war. If the time is only a few decades or hundreds of years, many devices left behind before nuclear war can be used, such as military factories. It will definitely be easier to deal with demons and ghosts. The residents of the abandoned land of zhaozuiyuan.com should not completely forget their appearance before nuclear war, and can become a force that can be united. If 400 to 500 years have passed, then the thoughts of these demons and heretics as human rulers may have already deeply penetrated people's hearts. If you want to deal with these guys, you probably have to rely on players. After a long journey of twists and turns, you finally arrived at your original residence. Unfortunately, apart from the immovable concrete pillars, your home is now empty. Although it's a bit of a joke, it's reasonable to think about it carefully. After all, in this environment, even if a person doesn't appear for a few days, their belongings have to be moved out. Anyway, I don't need to live by myself, it doesn't matter anymore. After confirming that there was really nothing left at home, you turned around and walked towards the west of town. But halfway through, a mysterious connection attracted you. That's the scent of fragments from the Yaoqi lake. Finally found the teleportation point. Let's first touch a fragment of the Yaoqi and then go find the craftsman. In a remote corner next to the town square, you have found fragments of Yaoqi in Tianshui town. The chaotic concrete and stones here will become your natural cover. You have lit up the fragments of Yaoqi, the large fragments of Yaoqi contain more power of Yaoqi. In addition to allowing you to travel through the fragments of Yaoqi in various places, through the large fragments of Yaoqi, you can also go to the gathering place of the spirits of Yaoqi. Qionghua Palace, you have obtained the fragments of Yaoqi. 2/2, you have achieved 1 achievement point *1, you have collected complete information. Fragments of Yaoqi Lake, you obtained 2 achievement points *2, you have opened the teleportation point. Qionghua Palace. Chapter 8. Qionghua Palace, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When he first started playing this game, Qionghua Palace appeared on his phone screen along with the talent selection interface. At that time, he was curious about what exactly this place was. From the fragments in the game, it can be seen that there is one of the 3 major fragments of Yaoqi. The area in the underworld has brought an opportunity for the spirit of Yaoqi to reincarnate. What will this area in the Qionghua Palace bring to him? You press your hand on the fragments, and a powerful suction begins to appear. For every spirit walking in the world, the Qionghua Palace is a must-visit place. That is one of the dormitories of the Queen Mother of the West, providing a clearer view of the world. As the teleportation begins, the deep blue background in the game changes, and the pearl-colored vortex rolls away the text, bringing a new interface. Spirit of Yaoqi, welcome to Qionghua Palace. You stand still, staring blankly at the bustling palace that has been destroyed. Pearl-white stones and gilded pillars have been cast into the walls of the palace, but the shattered dome can no longer stop the light from shining in. Although damaged, the overall structure of the palace is still intact. Apart from a few damaged stone statues, there is a long corridor leading to the side hall. Only a few 3 or 4 people are present in the entire palace, and like you, they are also the spirits of the Yaoqi. Also the spirit of Yaoqi, are these other players. On his way back to school last night, Xinyao reopened Bilibili to search for download advertisements for games. Unfortunately, he couldn't find any trace of this game in advertisements on Bilibili or other software. Therefore, he cannot determine whether he is the only one who can play this game, and until now, he has seen other players. After the fall of the Qionghua Palace in the Heavenly Court, it became a secret gathering place for the spirits of the Yaopool walking on Earth. They exchanged intelligence and shared resources here, and also used the power exclusive to the Heavenly Court to improve themselves. Detected that the player has entered Qionghua Palace, the dating system is activated. Please enter the game name. Xinyao carefully thought about it and chose the words Yingshu as his ID. This word originally originated from autumn water. In Zhuangzi, observing the ups and downs, one gains without joy, and loses without worry. In Xinyao's view, fullness or emptiness is called change. Game name created successfully. When you make friends with other players, your real name will not be revealed, but you will communicate using the game name. Shen Yao was not in a hurry to deal with those players, but started to wander around in Qionghua Palace. As one of the former dormitories of Queen Mother of the West, Qionghua Palace is also the residence of the spirits of Yao Qi. Here, you can feel that some of the stone statues have an inexplicable connection with you. Which stone statue do you want to touch first? 1. A gracefully dressed fairy, 2. A bearded old man holding a feather fan, 3. Damaged stone statues with unclear facial features, 4. Damaged stone statue with missing right body, partial hull, 5. Damaged stone statue with only legs left, partial hull. As a gathering place for players, Qionghua Palace should be relatively safe, so Shen Yao tried option 1. You walk up to the tallest statue in the entire Qionghua Palace, and with just one glance, you are certain that this elegantly dressed and graceful fairy is the Queen Mother of the West herself. Your hand touched the stone statue, and your eyes began to boil and burn. Shen Yao covered his eyes with his hand, and the burning sensation almost made him scream, causing nearby classmates to turn their heads towards him. He suppressed the pain and slowly rubbed it, and it took him some time to recover. Opening his eyes again, he looked out the window, but the reflection of the glass stunned him. The glass reflects a pair of purple-red eyes, and the pupils are like small gemstones with sparkling green light. Shen Yao gazed far and wide, realizing that as long as there were no physical obstacles, he could see faces 100 meters away with the same clarity as those from 10 meters away. As long as he has the idea of, "I want to see more clearly," in his heart, his vision will automatically change towards the goal. Without a doubt, this should be one's innate ability in the game. He had long speculated that the so-called seeing through fog was a conceptual ability, and without physical obstacles, night and day, fog and haze could not hinder Shen Yao's vision. He had been thinking before, why can't he bring his innate abilities to this world? Originally, it was necessary to have contact with the statue of Queen Mother of the West at Qionghua Palace. However, in this way, the next class will still be skipped. Hurry up and find a place to buy a beautiful pupil, otherwise the color will be too eye-catching. Shen Yao lifted his phone's screen and refocused his gaze on the game. You have lit up the statue of the Queen Mother of the West, your branch talent, 2 realms stand side by side, has been illuminated. With the blessing of the Queen Mother of the West, your talent and ability can be freely used in both the human world and the main world. Your talent tree has been opened, please select your branch talent to strengthen. A tree-like diagram of Kabbalah's Tree of Life appeared on Shen Yao's phone, with a total of 10 nodes on it. The bottom node is Shen Yao's talent, the Pupil of Magic. There are 3 nodes in the top left, and top right of it, and the 2 realms standing alongside node in the top has been lit up. He can choose the other 2 branch talents to strengthen. Branch talent. Spiritual resistance, talent effect. Significantly increases resistance to any type of mental attack. Those who hold the sense of pupil are not swayed by external objects of branch talent. Weakness detection, talent effect. In battles, you can more easily identify the weaknesses of your enemies. Those who hold the sense of the pupil and observe the difficulties of all things, lighting up a branch talent requires the consumption of 100 achievement points. The consumption of enhancement achievement points depends on the strength of the talent, so expensive. Shen Yao looked at the required achievement points and sucked on his teeth. He had done a big job in the underworld, only to get 120 achievement points, which could improve his abilities. Otherwise, relying solely on the achievements obtained in Tianshui Town and Guanyin Island, I wouldn't know if it would take a monkey year or a horse month to improve once. However, at first glance, one's innate abilities should be considered very strong. After all, the expenditure of achievement points is linked to the strength of the talent. Shen Yao pondered for a moment and realized that his own combat power was somewhat lacking, and the Inspiration King was not an enemy good at spiritual attacks. Choosing to light up the weakness detection was obviously more advantageous for himself. You have lit up your branch talent. Weakness detection. Illuminate branch talent. Only after mental resistance can talent enhancement continue. Xinyao blinked and didn't feel any new changes for the time being. He might have to wait until the battle to notice. Leaving the statue of the Queen Mother of the West, he controlled his character and respectfully bowed to the stone statue, then went to the book garden www.zhaozhuiyuan.com and walked towards the next stone statue. The second stone statue is a bearded old man holding a feather fan. You step forward and touch the stone statue. As you have not yet mastered the cultivation method, the cultivation system cannot be opened. Please search for your own cultivation method in the human world. Okay, this second stone statue won't light up directly. Xinyao has been envious of the so-called cultivation method for a long time, which should be the source of players being able to master extraordinary power. But obviously, in the game, the cultivation method is a rare thing. Otherwise everyone in the human world should have made efforts to practice it. If anyone in Qionghua town is most likely to have a cultivation method, there is no doubt that they are the inspiration immortal. In this way, Xinyao had another reason to deal with the inspiration immortal. After lighting up the stone statue without any results, you walked towards the first statue that was so damaged that you couldn't see its face clearly. Your hands touched the stone statue, and the world map is lit up. Player's current location. Naihe Fudi, also known as Nanxiu Buzhou, is one of the 4 major continents in Journey to the West. It seems that this game divides regions based on the 4 continents in Journey to the West. Xinyao clicked on the world map and felt more familiar as he looked at it. He then cut out the game and clicked on the Earth map. Comparing the two, Xinyao can confirm that the world map in this game is a somewhat incomplete map of the 3 continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe, only rotated clockwise more than 90 degrees. Xinyao is currently located in the southern part of the game map, and it is already the southernmost area, which is the coastal area. If compared to the map of Asia, Africa, and Europe in reality, then this location must be located on the eastern coast of China. As for the exact location, Qionghua town is too small for Xinyao to make a definitive decision. However, I'm afraid it won't be too far from Yin City. Chapter 9. Qionghua Palace, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After lighting up the world map, this damaged stone statue remained unchanged. After bowing as usual, Xinyao turned to another side hall. The Qionghua Palace is as empty as it was at the beginning of its fall, except for these ruins and the occasional spirits of the Yao Pool who come here. You can't see any trace of immortals. The laughter, dance, debate, and betrayal here have all dissipated over time, and only the timeless image of the Queen Mother of the West gazes at everything in the mortal world. Xinyao silently took a screenshot, feeling that the narration of this game would reveal some important things when he didn't. Pay attention. You walk along the long corridor of Qionghua Palace towards the side hall, where there are 2 remaining stone statues that have not been completely destroyed. Your hands touch the stone statue with only your legs left. The trading system has been activated. What appeared in front of Xinyao was a trading platform for players, hanging a variety of equipment, firearms, props, materials, and even other strange things, with prices ranging from a few spiritual fires to several thousand spiritual fires. And the most expensive one inside is the only cultivation method. Spirit with transformation technique, quality. Excellent, price. Lingua * 8000, except for these 3 lines, I haven't given any other information. Xinyao glanced at the price and said goodbye as he couldn't afford it. He may not even have so much spiritual fire if he kills the inspiration immortal in the future. Although there are many types of items on the trading platform, the total number is not large. Xinyao flipped through it and found that there were only 400 to 500 items on sale, not to mention more than half of them were various firearms. In this wasteland after nuclear war, firearms should be the most indispensable thing. Xinyao searched for equipment that could prevent sniper rifles on it, and surprisingly, it was actually there. Tingsha T.19 light power armor, highly damaged, quality. Normal, equipment parameters. Click to expand, In the Golden Age, humans had not yet invented power armor, which was developed in the early Wasteland era to fight against evil spirits and heretics. It has been proven that if humans were twisted into a rope, they could unleash astonishing intelligence under the threat of survival. Unfortunately, this is too late. Price. Qionghua *2000, Xinyao clicked on the equipment parameters and found that the shell of this powered armor could easily block most sniper rifle damage, but it no longer had a power source. If you want to wear this power armor, you need to rely on your own physical strength to drive a 500 kg power armor forward. Moreover, its weapon module and backup propulsion system have been damaged and are not equipped with any plugins. It can be said that apart from external armor, it has nothing valuable left. 2,000 points of spiritual fire can be replaced with an immovable iron shell, resulting in blood loss. It is estimated that the owner of this power armor cannot use it himself, so he took it out for sale to see if he can deceive a big shot. However, Xinyao was curious about what the power source of this power armor was. Portable fusion reactor or metal hydrogen battery. I don't know how long humans resisted when evil spirits came. If it's only a few years, then the rapid progress of technology is somewhat outrageous, and it can truly be called astonishing intelligence. Apart from this powered armor, he has not yet found any other equipment to defend against snipers. To solve the snipers on Guanyin Island, it seems that we still need to explore Qionghua town. Closing the trading platform, Xinyao arrived at the last stone statue. You place your hands on the last stone statue, and the rules of space begin to stir. The innate spatial ability of the spirit of Yao Qi has been revived, and you have obtained a portable cave, 10 cubic meters. Xinyao understood that this portable cave is something similar to a storage space. He used to think that in order to have a storage space, he had to find a way to obtain some space magic weapon. It turned out to be activated in the Qionghua Palace. Due to lack of personal space, the assault rifle and materials he obtained from killing the mermaids were buried next to a giant rock on the beach of Guanyin Island, with only a water-repellent pill on his body. Now he can go to Guanyin Island and bring his rifles with him. The rules of space are not far away. If you want to increase the size of your cave, you can spend achievement points at this stone statue to improve. Xinyao tentatively clicked on increase the size of the portable cave and found that it only needed a little for the first time. Cheap, directly improve. You connect the rules of the space in the stone statue, grow and expand the cave with you. The size of the cave with you increases to 100 cubic meters. Expanding the portable cave again requires consuming 10 achievement points. 100 cubic meters is not too big, picking up more garbage on his own might fill it up. Xinyao chose to continue improving. The power of space stirs up, and your portable cave grows and expands again. The size of your portable cave has grown to 1,000 cubic meters. Expanding the portable cave again requires consuming 100 achievement points. Xinyao was a bit stunned. Improving once would add one more zero, and the required achievement points were a bit too exaggerated. Fortunately, 1,000 cubic meters of space was enough for him to use for a long time, and Xinyao closed the portable cave interface. At this point, the system prompts that all the stone statues in Qionghua Palace have been explored. But after all, he is a person with a talent for magical pupils, and it is impossible for him to just leave like this. How could there be a hidden map in such a big place? After lighting up all the stone statues, you did not leave Qionghua Palace, but instead wandered here. Ringing bell. The bell for the end of class just rang, and Xinyao hung up the game and took a taxi to skip class and buy beautiful glasses. You have 2 unread QQ messages, old Zhou. Brother Yao, you're not attending classes anymore. Why did you go? Old Zhou. Bid, do you also skip classes? Tell me the truth, why did you go to zhaosuiyuan.com? Lao Yao. Guess what? Old Zhou. I'm a child, guess what? Old Zhou. You won't skip class when fishing, and you won't skip even elective classes. Honestly admit it, we suspect you went on a date, and something was wrong with you last night. Old Zhou's real name is Zhou Qi, and he is the dull brother in the dormitory's 5 old stars. He came to inquire about intelligence by watching Xinyao skip class. Xinyao has a headache. These people in the dormitory don't have to focus on studying. Why do they care about these things every day? For a while, he really can't come up with any good reason, so he just threw his phone aside and whatever you think, I won't talk to you anyway. After selecting beautiful lenses, Xinyao also bought a pair of flat glasses. After awakening his talent, his myopia was also cured by the way. After shopping, he didn't rush back to school, but changed his destination on his phone. Driver, let's take the outer ring road and get off the highway halfway to the banks of the Qingjiang River, said Xinyao. Oh, it's the place where many people go fishing, right? I know the way. But I don't recommend you to go in the next few days, young man. Do you know if there's an accident over there? What happened? What happened? Xinyao pretended to be puzzled. It is said that someone was fishing there last night and caught a corpse. This morning, the police station surrounded it, and unrelated personnel were not allowed to approach. So, Xinyao said with great interest, do you know what the police found out there? Oh, you don't know. The driver became interested and turned to Xinyao, saying, the people who went down to the salvage team this morning are said to have found the bodies of 2 more people in the river. Chapter 10. Speculations abound. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So. Xinyao clasped his palms together and lightly tapped the back of his hand. Although he didn't want to see such a result, this scene was within his expectations. In this era, there are not many cases of adults missing. Apart from being deceived, family discord and running away from home can create the illusion of missing. The time when the 3 people went missing was so close, and Xinyao had already seen the body of one of them. It is very likely that all 3 of them had encountered an accident. As for who did it, Xinyao only hopes that it has nothing to do with the players in the game. Then let's turn around, master. Let's go back to school. I changed the destination on my phone, Xinyao said to the driver. Okay, there have been more and more strange things lately. The driver kicked the accelerator and turned around, but what he said caught Xinyao's interest. Can you explain in detail, master? What's going on in this territory recently? Xinyao asked curiously. Harmful, this is not our business here, it's just that I've been scrolling through those video apps and these days I've always been able to see some bizarre headlines. What about, a 100-year-old tree rises up in a 5A scenic area, kidnapping tourists for environmental protection, and, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, no child is allowed to become a refined individual. The lone wolf transforms into a human form for her. No normal person would believe these things, but the most crucial thing is that they all have videos as evidence, and the clarity is still very high. That century-old tree has really risen from the ground. The video comments section also said that the clarity and smoothness of this video are not like software-made videos, but rather real. Someone said, what is this? The signs of spiritual revival are said to be the animals and plants that gave birth to spiritual intelligence that we have captured. They also said that in the future, maybe we can also practice martial arts and become immortals. However, someone quickly debunked the rumors under these videos, claiming that they were AI-synthesized videos, and those who spread the rumors have also been temporarily banned. TSK, upon thinking about it, he had also watched this type of video before coming into contact with the game, but he thought it was definitely a scam to traffic and didn't bother anymore. It seems difficult to say whether those outrageous things are true or false. Harmful, master, don't think so much about it. How could this kind of thing be true? Xinyao comforted the driver, this kind of video is clearly a scam to earn traffic. If someone really believes it and runs to the wilderness to find ancient trees or wild wolves, it's too easy to encounter danger. Well, you're right. If there's really someone looking for a wild wolf, that's all. Those of you who have culture are good. In this university, you must study hard. So, Xinyao listened to the driver's advice for half an hour with a worried expression on his face. And in places he couldn't see, ever since he got into the taxi, a crow on the roadside utility pole tilted its head and stared at his location. Xinyao was completely unaware of this. After getting off the car, Xinyao didn't go back to the dormitory. Instead, he found a classroom without classes and played a game directly. If he goes back to the dormitory at this time, the 5 old stars will definitely have to pester him with questions, or let's deal with it for a while. Xinyao is preparing to take on a tutor to save money, and after a while, he will go out to rent a house to live in. Being too close to roommates can sometimes be a problem. However, he could already foresee rumors of himself cohabiting with his girlfriend in the void. In the future you have been wandering in the Qionghua Palace, trying to find something that others do not know. You have been wandering in the Qionghua Palace, trying to find your own unique harvest. Unfortunately, when the heavenly court fell, the vast majority of Qionghua Palace had already been destroyed. What you can see now is the strongest main hall of Qionghua Palace. Perhaps there may be unexpected gains in other parts, but this main hall is already all that remains. There is nothing else here except a few broken walls and the dried-up water of the Yaoqi Lake. Whether you want to become the savior of this wasteland or embody the darker haze in people's hearts, the spirit of Yaoqi, you can only rely on yourself. But in the future, if you have the opportunity to repair the Yaoqi and find the unknown 3rd fragment, then bring it here. At that time, you may have unexpected gains. Although I couldn't find the hidden room, I didn't get nothing. At least I knew that the 3rd main fragment of Yaoqi was missing, and if I find it, I can get rich rewards. Xinyao took screenshots of all game records as usual and then teleported them away from Qionghua Palace. You expand the world map and select the fragments of the Yaoqi on Guanyin Island. As the teleportation began, the game background changed back from pearl white to deep blue. Arriving at Guanyin Island, Xinyao found the firearms he had hidden before and was indeed not passive. It seems that the mermaid in the defensive fortification deep inside Guanyin Island cannot really come out. The eye of the magic technique, triggered. Standing by the beach of Guanyin Island, you look into the forest and find new mermaid soldiers patrolling. However, the rifles in their hands are not the high-performance Jiaolong G.32, but rather improvised firearms. You find that they have some kind of device attached to their eyes, because you don't have technological professional abilities, and you don't know what that is. Although it was not explicitly stated in the game, Xinyao guessed that it should be some kind of device that can see through the fog at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Infrared, thermal imaging, or other technological devices are all possible. The inspiration immortal reacted quickly. In just one day, new mermaid soldiers were arranged and brought new equipment. However, he is not afraid that mermaid soldiers will become more difficult to deal with. Yesterday, he could only rely on a surprise attack. He only had a dagger, but now he has a gun in his hand. Xinyao did not choose to continue with his gun to Guanyin Island, but instead teleported back to Tianshui town. The mermaid soldier is just a small monster sending spiritual fire, insignificant. Continuously brushing monsters will only delay his exploration of Tianshui town. Only in Tianshui town can we find a way to solve the real boss inspiration immortal. You use the fragments of Yaoqi to return to Tianshui town, where the air still carried a fishy smell, which is an unavoidable cost for the village that feeds on sea fish. What are you doing standing on the side of Tianshui town square? 1. Flipping through the trash cans in the village. 2. Strolling in the village. 3. Go to the north gate of the village. 4. Go to the trading area. 5. Go to the south side of the village. 6. Go to the east side of the village. 7. More than a dozen options appeared on the phone, and Xinyao chose to go to the trading area that was haunted by his dreams. After preparing to officially explore Tianshui town, you placed your first stop in the trading area. This is a wise choice, where there are the most knowledgeable craftsmen and physicians in the entire town, merchants from Donghai City, as well as vendors who buy and sell seafood and can bring you funds. The eye of the magic technique, triggered. On your way to the trading area, you noticed several people following you in a sneaky manner.